Discover the best in local business news with a subscription to the IBJ and Inside Indiana Business. For a limited time, try us out for just $1 a week for 8 weeks. Claim this limited time offer now at ibj.com/trial offer.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio on demand for Monday, March 16th, 2026. I'm Gary Dick. Union workers at the BP Refinery in Whiting have overwhelmingly voted to reject the oil giant's last, best, and final contract offer. The United Steelworkers Local 7-1 said more than 98% of members voted not to accept the offer. The previous contract expired on January 31, but the two parties have agreed to a rolling 24-hour extension of the agreement for refinery workers. To labor news now in the business of sports. A new labor deal in the WNBA is high stakes for the league, its players, and franchise cities. The Indiana Fever have been riding a surge in ticket sales, merchandise, and TV numbers, and that has spread to downtown Indy businesses, says IU Columbus finance professor Ryan Brewer.
What we see is that the local proprietors are now, built up to kind of expect that summer business, so that's another impact on Indianapolis. But the whole thing really hinges on, you want everybody to be a little bit unhappy when they get to the middle. And after they've had a couple of weeks to digest wherever they end up, they're going to be happy. But what they don't want to do is they don't want to set the season back and cancel the season. I think there's a lot on the line right now, and everybody's going to have to share in this pot.
The Carroll County Economic Development Corporation has updated its 2026 strategic plan, outlining priorities aimed at strengthening the county's economy, workforce, and quality of life. That plan focuses on 4 key areas: business development, workforce development, community identity, and quality of place. You're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio. Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick, coming to you this week from Northwest Indiana, Jeffersonville, Muncie, South Bend, in downtown Evansville, Terre Haute, Fort Wayne, Richmond, from one of the state's key entrepreneurial and innovation hubs, 16 Tech. Inside Indiana Business, Indiana's business news leader. A federal judge has sentenced former Portage Mayor James Snyder to 3 years of probation for hiding income funds from the federal government.
The sentence from U.S. District Court Chief Judge Holly Brady puts a close to Snyder's 10-year-old fight with the government. Snyder, who was mayor of Portage from 2011 to 2019, was originally charged in 2016 with 2 counts of federal funds bribery related to garbage truck contracts and 1 count of obstructing the Internal Revenue Service by using a scheme to hide unfiled and back taxes. Snyder has maintained his innocence ever since. In 2019, a jury found Snyder guilty of 1 bribery count and the tax count, but he was acquitted of the other bribery charge. In 2021, the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Indiana sentenced Snyder to 21 months in prison per count. Snyder's appeals ultimately brought the bribery matter before the U.S. Supreme Court in 2024. The court determined that the federal law in question criminalizes government officials from accepting bribes in exchange for official acts, but it does not penalize officials for accepting gifts for past actions. The case was remanded back to the 7th Circuit, which concluded the government could pursue a new trial against Snyder on the bribery count. After it was sent back down to the district court, the prosecution ultimately decided to dismiss the bribery charge and focus on the tax count. Along with the probation sentence, the court has also ordered Snyder to pay the IRS more than $78,000 in restitution. Alex Brown, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Indiana revenue collection surpassed the most recent estimates for the month of February. The Indiana State Budget Agency said Friday general fund revenues last month totaled $1.4 billion, which is $63.6 million higher than the April 2025 forecast, or 4.7%. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.
Hi, I'm Dave Neff, host of Talent Scout. On this show, we shine a light on Indiana's next generation of leaders who are making a difference in business, community, and civic life. These are real conversations about purpose, mentorship, and building a future that matters. Join me as we invest in leadership that lasts. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast app or listen at ibjpodcast.com.
The IBJ Media Podcast Network is the soundtrack of a growing state. Indiana is on the move, and you can hear it happening on the IBJ Media Podcast Network. We bring you the voices at the center of our economy, our courts, our companies, and our communities. Subscribe now and be part of the conversation that's building Indiana's future. Find all of our shows by searching IBJ Media in your podcast app or visit ibjpodcasts.com.